Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In my last video I was talking about how to paint a portrait from a photo, and there was one trick that I was really excited to share with you, but I needed a separate video to do it. If you're working from a photo, this is my way to guarantee that your drawing or your painting comes out completely accurately. I'm really excited to show this to you. If you haven't seen my video on working from photos yet, I will link it right up here. So please go ahead and give that a watch. It's gonna be really helpful and fit right into what you're learning today. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you cannot wait to try this hack. I certainly can't wait to show you, so let's dive right in. So I'm going to be using this portrait that I have in progress to show this to you. I'm going to kind of show you like live what it looks like to take the photo that we're going to use, and then I'm going to switch over to sharing my screen so you can see how my photo looks and then also specifically what I do in Photoshop. So to start off, I'm just going to grab my iPhone and I'm opening the camera app. And then I know only one thing is kind of in focus at a time here, so you're probably seeing the painting rather than my phone. But you can see what I did here is I was really careful about how I lined my phone up to the painting. I basically wanted to take a photo with a minimal parallax or like perspective on it. So if I took it with my phone like this, what's going to happen is the top of the painting is going to appear much wider in the photograph than the bottom. And I really want the image to be totally square because I'm going to be comparing it to a totally square reference photo that I've been painting from this whole time. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and switch over and show you the photo that I took. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen, and then I'm going to show you how I edit this. So here we have my image on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit, and really what I'm trying to do here is crop my image as best as I can while removing none of the actual painting. So I'm going to bring the edge of my crop all the way in until it just meets one corner. If it meets a whole edge, that's great. But rarely do I get it totally perfect where it is like dead square. Okay. And that is what it's going to look like cropped. And then I'm just going to airdrop it to my computer and I will do a screen recording to show you what I do from there. Alright, so I'm actually going to be showing you what this looks like in Photoshop as well as Procreate for the iPad, because I know those are both like pretty common tools for people to use for showing their references. So once I have my photo that I just took open alongside my reference, here are the steps that I'm taking. Looking at the photo of the painting I just took, I am doing Command A or Select All, Command C or Copy, and then I am closing that window or Command W. Then I'm tabbing back into the reference image. I'm hitting Command V or Paste, Command T or Free Transform, which I forgot to show you, I'm so sorry. And then I'm hitting Command 0, which corresponds to Fit on Screen. From here, I am using the transform tool to fit each corner of my photograph into the reference. I want the corners to match entirely. To begin, I'm scaling it from that lower right-hand corner, which preserves the proportions of the photograph. But that doesn't make it totally match with the reference. So from there, I'm taking the middle of the right-hand side and the middle of the bottom, and I'm hitting Shift, that allows me to scale it while actually changing the proportions. At the end of this step, the image of my painting should fit 100% in my reference image. There should be none of the painting that is missing. Now from here, I right-click and hit Skew. This is going to help me address the little perspective problems that I created because I was not completely dead on to my painting when I took the photo. To use the skew tool, I'm simply dragging individual corners until there is no longer any like blank space beyond the image of the painting. So anything that was background that was captured in the photograph along with the painting, I'm just dragging the corners until those little bits of background are totally gone. And from here, I simply hit enter when I'm happy with all of the adjustments I made in the transformation tool. And then I'm ready to actually use this to my advantage. So over in the lower right hand corner, I have a layers tab that you can see. You can see I actually have several layers like this already, which are just images of the painting. None of those are selected. Right now, it's just the original reference image and then the very most recent photo of the painting. And all I am doing here is checking and unchecking the little eye icon to the left of that topmost layer to toggle whether or not I see it. What winds up happening if I toggle back and forth really quickly and I kind of relax my eye a little bit is that the image starts to look like it's dancing as I shift back and forth between the reference and the painting layer. And those little places that are dancing or kind of shifting as I toggle on and off are the places where there is a difference. So for instance, here I can see her legs are ever so slightly off of where they should be given the reference. But this isn't the only trick that I'm going to use here either. So back in that layers panel, if I look up in the upper right hand corner of the panel, there's a little section that says opacity and it's at 100%. If I have that painting layer selected and I have it toggled on, I should be able to click that 100% drop down and slowly adjust that slider until the painting layer is at this specific opacity where I can still see the painting, but I can also see the reference underneath it. So after I've been toggling back and forth from the previous step, what I really want to do here is I want to get to this magic point where I can see both sets of edges. I can see the edge of that section that was kind of dancing in my painting, and then I can see the edge from the reference. And this is where I can really see exactly how far off I was. So after I've decided I need to make an adjustment, this part really shows me how much of an adjustment I need to make. All right, and that is Photoshop. I know this is the primary program that people tend to use, but I know a lot of people also use iPads, and since I have an iPad, I thought that I would go ahead and open up Procreate and show you Procreate's version of the same process in case you prefer to use that over Photoshop. So I'm starting out with Procreate open and I've imported my reference image and I've opened that particular file. Next thing I'm going to do is hit that little tool icon and insert photo, and I'm going to insert the photo that I took of the painting. What's actually really cool about Procreate is that it automatically applies the transform tool when you paste an image in, so you don't have to go through a whole bunch of commands. You're just already good to go. So right off the bat, I am putting the image up in the upper left-hand corner so that the left and top edges perfectly align, and then I'm going to go ahead and scale the image down toward the bottom right-hand corner, so that I can get it as close to perfect as I can. Then I'm just taking that little slider that's off to the middle of the right-hand side and I'm pulling it flush with the right-hand side. And then I'm using the distort tool, kind of like the skew tool in Photoshop, to remove that background space from around the painting, making sure that every edge is completely flush with the edges of my reference. I also play just a little bit here with the warp tool because there is a slight amount of bowing on the painting itself. So that's just to help bring the very, very middle back out to the edge. And this was actually my first time doing this in Procreate. It's not, it's actually a really great program. I think it is like a perfect iteration of Photoshop, but it's, I think, like a $5 download, or at least that's what it used to be. Either way, it's like a one-time purchase. It's a fraction of the cost of Photoshop, and they strip out all the tools that as painters we just don't need. So you can see, even though this was totally my first time, this was really intuitive. I made a couple mistakes. I went back and I fiddled a little bit, but this is all to say that this is highly approachable. So I would totally encourage you to just go in and kind of play around. Don't be frustrated if it doesn't work out at first. Just kind of keep playing until you have a sense of how all of the controls work here. Then, just like Photoshop, I can go over to the Layers tab, which is that icon in the upper right-hand corner right next to your color picker, and I can check that box. In this case, it's to the right of my layer, and I can check and uncheck that to toggle whether or not I see it, and then I can also use the little like magic wand tool up in the upper left-hand corner and then go to opacity, and I can slide that to the left and right once that's selected to lower the opacity on the painting layer and just get it to the point where I can see both the painting layer and the reference layer simultaneously, just like I did in Photoshop. And that is it. I hope you learned something really cool. I hope this helps you with your own drawing or painting. I know it helps me a ton. Whether I'm concerned with how tricky the drawing is or not, it always saves me a lot of time, and I hope that it does you too. I know that there are a lot of steps and this is somewhat technical, but trust me, once you get in the flow of this and you kind of memorize the steps, this is a really seamless thing to integrate into your workflow, especially if you already have something like Photoshop open so that you can view your reference to paint from it. Again, if you found this helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And until next time, I hope you stay safe, I hope your families are safe, and thank you so much for watching. Happy painting, you guys.